to see if you recognize him, even know the name. Any name on there familiar to you?
Jack Smith.
That's not the one we're talking
Well, I didn't know. I just said that. I had a 25% chance, and I didn't want to say no. No, I mean, I don't.
Steve Dalkowski.
Steve Dalkowski. No, don't know it. How would I know it?
I'll show you something and ask you to tell me who you see on that card and tell me about him.
Well, the guy that kind of sticks out is Steve Dalkowski.
What is it?
That guy right there, can you...
Steve Dalkowski. 1963 Rookie Stars. Oh, my God.
I want you to take a look at this card and see if there's anybody there you've heard of. Speaking of the fastball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This Dalkowski, he's legendary.
There's no man on earth that ever had more talent. No man. There's a man that if he could have gotten it over, I really believe could have just made his living just throwing fastballs.
Well, I did know Steve Dalkowski. I knew of him. And obviously I came up in that era that everybody knew him, and they said he was the hardest thrower that everybody that ever saw him said that. And I never saw him.
But people did talk about him.
Oh, he was a legend. And you hear all these stories about him.
Like Bull Durham's Nuke LaLoosh, who was based in part on Dalkowski. Or Sid Finch, George Plimpton's imaginary pitcher who threw 168 miles per hour. The story of Steve Dalkowski sounds like pure myth, but it was real.
Tell us what we're looking at. What did that arm do?
Threw a ball faster than anybody that ever lived. Anybody.
The nastiest I ever faced was the hardest thrower ever threw a baseball, was Steve Dalkowski.
You know, you get into discussions about who threw the ball the hardest. Well, this guy will come up in every conversation that the guys played back in the day saw this guy throw. They said that he was the hardest thrower that they ever saw.
And this is hard to believe, and as you get older, the stories get bigger. But I was there. Steve and I played together for 2 years in the minor leagues. He's sort of a cult figure in a way because he never played in the major leagues.
We were teammates in Elmira in AA, and he was running in the outfield one time, and I said, Steve, can you throw that ball through this fence? And it was 1x6s. He said, I don't know. And he hadn't even warmed up. He grabbed the ball and just fired it at the wall and threw it right through the wall. I said, I guess you can.
One game, he broke my shin guard, split my shin guard. Another game, he broke the mask, the bar mask that I had. So after that, I got a wire mask. I said, man, I'm not taking any chances. But he threw harder this day than any man I ever saw in my life.
Who taught you to throw fast?
You don't teach people how to throw fast. It just comes natural.
I would have loved to have seen him throw at his prime. Because what people said about him, obviously, he had one of those special arms.
Befitting the legend of Steve Dalkowski, no one has ever found any footage of him pitching.
Tell me about that guy.
He's a good guy, yeah. Couldn't throw strikes. Yeah.
He was very wild. Sometimes when he threw BP, it was questionable if he could throw it in the cage.
I would do this, and the ball would go like that. Out of control, they say.
His problem was more up and down than it was in and out. You could tell Steve to throw the ball, and I want you to hit a foot in front of the plate. I want you to throw the ball 59 feet, and the ball would be over the catcher's head by the time it got to the plate, because his ball had so much, he had so much backspin on his ball that the ball rose that quickly.
Everywhere he pitched, he set strikeout records. But for every new mark for strikeouts, there was another new record for walks.
He pitched 697 innings and had 1,099 strikeouts. And he had more walks than he had strikeouts, by 100. Pretty amazing. You still have to throw the ball over the plate.
Could not throw a strike. Tried everything. I mean, everything. All he wanted to do was get the fastball over, and he could not do it. What a shame.
Over the years, it almost became an obsession with him to try to conquer his control. And he was getting better. He wasn't perfect, but he was getting better.
In 1962 at Elmira, under a new manager, the future Hall of Famer Earl Weaver, Dalkowski finally found the plate. Over his final 52 innings that summer, he struck out 104 while walking only 11.
After all them years in minor, I finally got the word that I'm gonna have a chance to make it. I felt real good.
In spring training 1963, Dalkowski pitched in 2 games against the Dodgers and the Yankees, allowing no runs and no hits. Topps printed his baseball card, and the morning of his final appearance, he was told he had made the team and was fitted for a big league uniform for the very first time. Then, with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, Steve came off the mound to field a bunt. As he threw to first, he felt a pop in his elbow.
Tell me about walking off the field and knowing that you were hurt.
I said, why me? And then I started crying. Yeah.
Steve went back to the minor leagues. He would never throw a pitch in the majors.
I felt so bad about him because when he was trying to get it back, you could walk downtown at 1 o'clock in the morning, you'd find Steve sitting down there with a bottle of wine. I mean, it really, really tore at his heart.
It's a shame that a talent like that never got there. It's a fragile deal, and if the wrong thing happens, you never know.
Just somebody that was unable to conquer his control. And it's just unfortunate that he never made the big show. If he'd harnessed his control and gone to the big leagues, I think he would have been one of the premier fastball pitchers, ever in baseball.